Welcome to all of a sudden number 57.
Yes,
Every
57.
every time you put me on the spotlight and I forget what number we're on. Episode number 57, brought to you by Anchor.fm. If you want to start your podcast, do it now with Anchor.fm. Today we got Matt and no one else. No one else wanted to be a part of our show.
Yeah, they found that I
Well,
was coming. They're like,
that's
nah, that guy.
well, that's a sad way to start it, Joe. We brought Matt aboard because obviously Father's Day was this past weekend, and Matt being a father, as well as having a father, we could I don't know, talk Father's Day stuff and whatnot, and what it means to be a dad.
And you'll never know what the meaning of a dad is, other than, well, from what I know so far, it's making sure that little one doesn't die. Making sure
Oh,
they got
That's
everything
always
they
a good
need.
place to start.
That's
Yeah,
that's a
you
that's a
gotta.
good foundation.
It's I mean, it's rough. It's rough when being a single dad, I guess, because you have to have everything ready for your child on your own, and hope that the other parent has everything that they need. And then, although you're not with that person, you still feel the necessity. Well, at least I do, to provide on that means as well. You want to make sure that your daughter, or I have a daughter, making sure that she has everything she needs, both at this household, being my household, and that household, which is her mother's household. So sometimes you feel a little bit stressed, a little overwhelmed, but you know, when she is over here and when I wake up, she's cuddled under my arm. She'll leave her bed and she'll come over to mine. So little things that she does here and there, her smile or telling me I love you, it makes it worth it.
That's
Um,
exactly what I say about Julian when we do this podcast. His smile just makes doing this show worth it.
oh,
Kidding.
I mean, it's a great feeling. You never know you never know what to expect becoming a parent, but once they're here, that you feel a love that you don't think is possible, and it's somebody you haven't even met yet. And the moment you see them, it's, I don't know, man. I was brought to tears when I first saw her, and first time I heard her cry too, I wanted to break down.
You wanted to sit there and cry with her. I'll cry with
Yeah,
you.
pretty much. I'll cry with you. But oh, it's a great feeling. I mean, I can't say anything feels as great as that.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, I didn't have her this year though. Unfortunately, her mom decided to take a last minute trip to California, and because I work full time still in this quarantine, I was unable to get the days to accommodate my daughter throughout the week this week. So fortunately, I was by myself here.
Oh. Well, is there any I guess like translations from I guess your father to how you
Did you pick
are a
up any
father?
fathering from
Yes.
your own father?
Well, my father was
Yes.
a piece of, and
Bleep.
ducked out pretty much when I was 9. So that developing stage as a male, when you need your father the most, mine wasn't there. So I think I was like 7 when he left. So I really pretty much whatever I learned is from seeing my grandfather, or seeing my uncles, who didn't have their kids yet, but just watching them, seeing how they carried themselves is pretty much how I learned how to be. And then being around 2 sisters, and then my mother, and then I think I have like in total like 10 aunts and like only 2 uncles, 3 uncles. So being around females gave me a real perspective as to how to treat a girl and how to be respectful of one. So it I can't say a I can't say I'm more man than anybody, but from what I've learned from what I've learned from my grandfather, what I've learned from my uncles, and what I've learned from my female family members, it kind of helped me become who I am today. And I mean, I've never heard anybody complain about me other than I'm annoying, but other than that, my respect, my the way I carry myself amongst people that I meet, I've never heard anything wrong. So I guess I'm doing something without my father, and I just hope my daughter can see that as well, and see how a man should respect women, how he should respect his kids, and she can carry that into her relationships that
When that
blossom in the future.
inevitable day comes when she starts dating, are you gonna be that tough dad that flexes his guns?
I was like, hopefully by that time I don't even have to flex. I can just say hi, and then everything like, bursts.
Just bounces right off.
Yeah, pretty much.
You just
I
Hulk
like
rip your shirt, just hello son, and then
well, I'm kind of hoping to
It's
be
like,
like,
oh,
I don't
that
know.
always happens.
I don't know if you guys have seen Megamind, where at the end of the movie, Megamind pretends to be Metro Man, and then his calves burst into
Oh,
like 3
yeah,
times
and
the
the little,
size.
yeah, the
Yeah,
little flags like kind of just flutter.
yeah, I'm hoping we can be like, hi. Like, okay, yeah, I'm not good enough for your daughter. But no, I mean, you can't really say that if you don't want your daughter to move on and find somebody good, or your son find a good girl, your daughter find a good guy, or whatever they may, be into in the future, and you want them, you don't want anybody around them. You're just setting them up for a very sad life. You should always, the way I mean, I'm still years from it, but whatever she decides to do, all I can do is make sure she makes the right decisions and show her how to follow through on things as to what needs to be done. Um, we're still young. I mean, we're not even 30 yet, and I mean, we've all had our life lessons, and there's still more to come. Throughout till the day we die, we're gonna learn more lessons, and it's just making sure that our generation that follows us, learns those lessons as well, and uses them in their life.
That's
Nice,
true.
nice. Well, clearly, obviously, like with your dad taking off, you still had other father figures that kind of stepped up to the plate with your grandpa or your uncle. Was there anything from them that you kind of learned about?
Well, my grandfather is always my grandfather. I can't really say he was machismo. I know, being Hispanic, we all have that. You can't cry. You got to work. You got to support the family. You got to do this. You got to do that. The whole household revolves around you, and other
Mhm.
cultures are like that as well. But seeing my grandfather do what he does every day, to this day, he's 76 now and he's still working, and not because he needs to, but because that's what he knows how to do, and he doesn't want to be sitting around at home. I remember one day I went over to his house, and he uh, was 1 or 2 days he couldn't work because they got rained out over at the quarry he works at,
Mhm.
and he was going crazy because he didn't have anything to do. He swept the house like 3 or 4 times. He mopped. He went outside to pick up trash. He came back inside. He washed dishes, and he's like, I don't know what to do now. I said, Grandpa, sit down. Watch TV. He's like, no, no, no. That's wasting time. But that's how they were brought up. To be working, to make money. To do what they need to do. So I guess one thing I did learn from my grandfather was, you know, to be consistent and to continue to push forward because it does have its payout, and to carry yourself to the highest standard that you can for yourself. My grandfather, he works. I think he's been wearing the same clothes for like 20 years now when he's comfortable. But when he dresses up, when he goes out to family functions, whatever, he looks nice. He cleans up. He gets his hair cut. He trims his mustache. Whatever. And so seeing my grandfather take uh what's that, what would be the proper word here, take that initiative, even though he's 75, he could really care less how he looks, but he still dresses up to the nines. He cleans up his car. He washes his truck, takes his truck out. um so my grandfather really showed me how you should carry yourself as a man when it comes to a household. Yeah, he's a little bit older now, and you kind of wish he would relax, but that man, I know he's gonna work until the day he dies. That's just the kind of guy he is, and hopefully I can have that kind of mentality too. Keep
Yeah,
on
that same
work,
work
yeah,
ethic.
yeah, keep on working just to make sure my family never needs anything. Because to this day, I mean, I make my money. I make you know X amount of money every month. But even then, every once in a while, he'll stop by and he'll be like, hey, I don't know how you're doing, but here's $200. Go wash your car or something, or go put gas or whatever. And it's like, oh, I don't need a grandfather, but thank you. No, 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 take it, and he'll make sure you take that damn money.
Take it.
Go get
Yeah.
Yeah,
yourself a hamburger and a soda pop.
A
go get
soda
yourself a
pop
soda
and a
pop.
pizza.
That's what my grandma used to do for me. Like if I would go visit her, she would just give me a couple bucks, like a $5 or something like that,
Yeah.
because she knows I like to eat on the cheap side. So I'll get like a
Mhm.
dollar burger or something. So she would hand me like a 5, and she would tell me, Here, go get yourself a burger, one of those burgers you like, and a soda pop. And be like, okay, grandma, thank
Soda
you.
pop.
Yeah.
What she used to live near McDonald's, no, or something.
Yeah. She
Yeah.
a bunch of like cheap fast food are around her house.
True. Yeah, speaking to that same mentality as I guess kind of with your grandpa, I remember one of the things that happened when I was a kid. We were at my grandpa's house for I forgot what reason, but we had the car and it had gotten like a little dirty like under the tires. So I just started wiping one down and I was trying to get like all the crud out of it to try and make it look right. And as soon as I finished, I noticed like my grandpa was watching me and he was like, "Well, when are you gonna get started on the other three tires?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, he taught me, if you're gonna do something, do it right. Like make sure
Yeah.
you do it all and make sure you finish it. Make sure you complete it because there's no sense in doing something if you're just gonna half-ass it.
Oh, yeah,
And
my grandfather would do the same thing. Sorry, go ahead.
no, man, go ahead. That was kind of the end of my story.
Oh, no, yeah, my grandfather was the same way. One thing my grandfather did, and I just thought about it too, and it's one of the big things that it's one thing that has made him stand out amongst the entire family, and one thing that I wish I could live up to, and I hope I do. My grandfather, oh, he's a very faith-driven man, and one thing he does believe is giving to the less fortunate. So whenever he has anything to give, he'll give it. My mom has told me stories where they've been dirt poor when they were younger, and my grandfather had maybe $20 to his name, and he would still give 15 to a homeless man and keep 5 tips off. And it's like well, what do you do nowadays with $5 and you can't do anything? And he still to this day he'll do that. I've there's days where I see my grandfather and he, you know, I ask him if he's eating. He's like, no, I didn't eat. I gave my food to a guy who was on the street. And my grandmother will load my grandfather's lunch bag up before he goes to work. She'll load it. And he'll come home with nothing because he'll either give it away or, and if he does eat it, he'll eat it. But my grandfather's always been one to give to the less fortunate, and that's one thing that always stood out to me. That no matter how destitute he's been, he still finds it in his heart to give what he has and more if he can. And that's one thing that I admire about him the most, and I hope I can continue to do that. I'm not in my grandfather's situation he was in 40,
Yeah.
50 years ago. I'm on a better off situation, but even then, I'll give what I can, and sometimes it feels like a stretch, but it's kind of, I mean, I guess you can say it's kind of like, you give and you get, and sometimes when you give, the payout could be better than what you're
Yeah.
expecting.
Yeah, like you're paying it forward.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I haven't given anything recently. I mean, because I've been just going straight to work and coming back home and go to the gym. I haven't really spent time out on the streets recently. But
Well, yeah, because of everything that's going on and all that.
yeah. And I mean, I have plenty of clothes that I could probably give away. And I have nothing to do but mess with my room and mess with my daughter's clothes. So I have plenty of stuff to give away. It's just waiting to see when you can start donating and stuff like that. Because
I know Savers is starting to, because that's what we just did this past weekend. We
Okay.
like cleaned out the whole garage. We got rid of a lot of books, a lot of clothes,
Hmm.
a lot of stuff. You kind of just the only thing is you're the one that has to kind of like dump it. But once you put them in all the bins, then they'll take them off and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, what I was concerned about is you going to donate and then them not using it, like trashing it because of the COVID. Like, oh, we don't know if that person's infected, so let's
Oh
just throw
yeah,
it out. That's been my issue, because then it's just a waste. I'm not
yeah.
saying they're expensive clothes or anything like that, but it's just that can go to somebody who really needs it.
I'd imagine they go through
Yeah,
some kind
because
of precaution to clean the stuff.
Yeah, but
yeah, I know that they wash them, but I remember that situation coming up a long time ago when I was first working for Coke. I was getting rid of like a couple bags of clothes, and some homeless guy saw that I was about to like dump them into those little containers with the not St. Jude, some
Candle
other one,
lighters.
the
candle
candlelighters.
lighters. And he was like, "Hey man, is it cool if I like check out what you have? Because I kind of need like some new shirts and shoes and stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, man, take a look, see what you need." And he found like some sweaters. I remember it being close to like around this time. No, not this time, like August. So I was like, yeah, man, I mean, take a sweater, take a jacket, there's stuff in there, stay warm. Even if it doesn't fit you, like if something fits one of your friends, take it,
Yeah. Good guy,
Yeah.
Julian.
No, that's one of the only things. I'm not big on like giving away cash because obviously like I've learned the hard way that it doesn't always
Make a
get
good change.
things. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but at the same time, you're doing it at the goodness of your heart, So
yeah,
that's how I see it.
obviously. No,
You
no,
just gotta hope.
Enjoy your
yeah,
bump, sir.
that's that's not to diminish your grandfather or even you yourself or anybody that gives away to charity or even just a homeless person on the street who needs food because obviously there's going to be those ones that actually do use it towards food or
Yeah.
they collect as like a community but yeah I've already had that situation happen several times that I'd rather just give like actual clothes or money or something.
But speaking of charity, Julian, the stickers are almost in, and like we mentioned a couple podcasts ago, we're gonna have those stickers available, and the proceeds are gonna go to a charity. So we'll go ahead and give you more information towards the end of the show, or maybe after the commercial break, because we're up against it right now. But we'll feed you guys with some more information on those super cool stickers.
Yeah, they're actually supposed to be coming in today. But yeah, as far as the stickers, we'll see what we could do with those. The keychains, I'm gonna order this upcoming weekend when I get paid because obviously it costs money. But yeah, we'll keep you guys posted. That way we can raise awareness, raise some funds, and support.
Have you guys ever
Some.
thought about making what are they called? A GoFundMe just to go ahead and help with the podcast?
As far as podcasts, I don't want to like impose on people to feed our podcast. I mean, we're happy you guys support us. Your likes mean a whole great deal to us, and just you
Mhm.
listening means a whole great deal to us. So, like
Yeah,
we
and
said, these stickers aren't for any of our profit. This is all for the charities that we're gonna send it out to. So,
yeah, and of course it's gonna. I mean, it's not like it's hard to, you know, make it happen. It's just I don't know. I just want to do something to kind of help out with the cause, and I feel like if we raise money for ourselves to help another cause, it kind of feels a
it
little.
cheapens it a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
go ahead and throw it to a break, and we'll see you guys right now. Welcome back to All of a Sudden number 57. How you doing, guys? How was the break?
It was
Good.
pretty good. I got to go take a little tinkle, make a quick boom boom,
I had to
and
freaking
now I'm back.
turn the air on in my room because it gets so hot in here. So I had to.
Well, yeah, it's in the hundreds this week. No,
Getting toasty.
Yeah, El Paso. Are we official in summer?
Yeah, on
Yeah.
21st, first day of summer.
was it 21st or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
See.
remember. I'm pretty sure it's usually around like 20 something.
All right. And Julian, how often are you in a warehouse?
Probably like once every, I don't know, 2 weeks maybe.
I'm in one for 6 days for 12 plus hours.
Oof, I'm in the opposite. I'm in a freezer, so I'm enjoying it.
I'd rather be in a freezer, to be honest.
It's not that bad. I'm not gonna lie, but the worst part about the freezer is like my hands. They start like almost stiffening, and it's like it gets hard to work.
That's what,
I get like frostbite, like the little onset frostbite. I don't know.
Jesus, they're called gloves, man. You should look into them.
I got them, but I don't know, man. It's some of these coolers, they have them like god dang Arctic temperature. I don't know what the hell. But anyway, so yeah, before we left off, we were talking about father figures and stuff like that, and I noticed we didn't get to hear anything from Joe. Is there any stories you have of your grandpa or your dad?
well, I mean, my dad is just like I guess the ultimate father figure. He's always been someone strong in my life, and he's just taken care of the family. He's kind of a strong role model. I mean, he's worked his way from the bottom of his profession all the way to owning the business. So that's just something in itself to look up to. And just the way he's been with us since we were born. I mean, he's taught us to take care of ourselves. He's taught us to be tough. And just plenty of good memories with my dad. So, shout out to him.
Delcon, not sponsored. Oh, shoot. Jacob's calling.
Wow.
Yeah, can't be on the podcast, but, he can answer the phone.
Hey, welcome to the show, Jacob.
Joe says, hey, welcome to the show.
Yo, what up? What it do?
So we're sharing stories about being a dad or father figures in our lives. Was there anybody that helped make you become the dad you are today?
Well, there's I'm gonna just put out the obvious candidates, I guess. Can you guys hear me good?
Yeah, right. Can you guys hear him?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can hear you.
All right, cool. All right, so the audio sounds good?
Yes. Well, I mean,
So just to state the obvious, like my mom, obviously, since she's been a single mom, she kind of had to take up both roles. And, that kind of helped me, I guess, put things, just be humble, be grateful for the shit that you have, like, I don't know, like she didn't give us everything. And I guess that's a good thing because obviously she wasn't able to, but she taught us to be grateful for whatever we have. So, and then obviously you guys know Jeremiah, you guys know Hector. They were the only guys that I guess I was in contact with for my childhood years. So they helped me out a lot with that kind of stuff. They gave me advice. They were assholes from time to time, but that's just who they are. And but they're good guys, nonetheless. They're good men. They know what's right and they know what's wrong. And they're the ones who taught me right from wrong. Other than my mom did too, but she basically just told me to stay humble. That was her, I guess, lesson, and their lesson was, right from wrong. What to do, what not to do, that kind of stuff.
And Julian, ask him whose lesson it was for him to quit Call of Duty all the time.
Joe wants to know what lesson, who taught you the lesson of quitting Call of Duty all the time?
I did that myself. I'm my own man. That's one thing I did on my own.
All right, I'll let you get back to work.
No, well, we're already done.
Ooh, no. Well, we're gonna get back to the podcast. All right. See ya.
You guys gonna get on tonight or what?
Maybe later.
All right, let me know. Later.
All right, Joe. So as you were saying, your father, he really built his company from the ground up.
Well, himself. I mean, he started at the lowest possible job you can have in the position in the company. Yeah, he started just as a general laborer. He started from the way bottom, and he was able to work himself all the way up to actually owning the business himself. So now the company is his, and that's just something to admire.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's definitely like someone to really look up to. Like, holy crud! Like he made it, and then he even built the house that you guys live at now.
Yeah, both houses, because it's two separate houses, and he was able to build the one that they're currently living in, and then the one that me and my brother currently stay at.
I remember that day. We had to dig holes just to get the pipeline from one house or one location to the next, and that sucked. I remember Joe was telling us, like, no, we're not supposed to use water. We're not supposed to use water because apparently it makes it harder or something. So me, him, and Carlos are just ditch digging pretty much. And his mom comes home after work, and she's like, why didn't you guys use water? It would have made it easier. I was like, this guy, like, I hated him the rest of the day. But it was really cool, real fun.
I don't know if you want to share a couple thoughts on your pops, Julian.
Definitely his love of music has really helped me out a lot. Whenever I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary calls to me. I'm just kidding. No, well, yeah, obviously a big part of it has to do with like kind of as Matt had brought up, a big part is like his work ethic. It definitely reminds me. I used to really feel for that one song, the Cats in the Cradle, where he was always working, and then now I'm all grown up, and now I'm always working, and it's like, yeah, obviously, I still live with him, so I can still talk with him and stuff.
Julian, do you
But,
want to go throw the ball around? Not now, Dad. I gotta work.
No, yeah, pretty much. It's definitely like I've learned obviously that we only have so much time, and it doesn't make sense to just give it all to work. And but because of him, I definitely did get that strong work ethic, and I was able to pay off my car. I was able to, whenever when I was dating my ex, I was always able to keep us afloat because even though she wanted to hang out and like have us throw parties and stuff and hang out with friends, I was always saying, no, you know what, I got to go to work, I got to go make that money because we need to have a roof over our heads, or we need to have a car to get around and stuff like that. So for that, definitely admire him. And of course, obviously, like the music and stuff like that. Pretty much all those little things that you learn and that you're just like, why do I know this? Or like, how the heck did I come to this way of thinking? In a lot of it stems back from that. So yeah, definitely pretty lucky.
Yeah, I think we can all kind of consider ourselves lucky to have such a strong figure in our lives, whether it be your grandpa or your uncles, your female characters, like you and Jacob said, our dads. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there or father figures in people's lives. Thank you.
Yeah,
for
and one thing I kind of want to bring back from the old school kind of podcast, and I'll throw it up in there. Why don't you, I welcome your guys' stories. Like I kind of want to hear any of our listeners, what's a story that you have of your dad or your father figure teaching you something or helping you learn a life lesson, something, because those are always really nice to hear.
Yeah. So comment section down below if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, Instagram at All of a Sudden Pod and All of a Sudden Podcast, 107 Productions on YouTube. I wanted to bring up I don't want to say, we're forced to say leaders of not only our country, but our state and their
city.
in their infinite wisdom on current situations. For one, I want to say Trump has finally found the secret to COVID.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
Apparently, he's using the boogeyman method where if you don't see it, it doesn't exist. So
Hey, I like it.
He went on record saying, I think the way to keep our numbers low is if we just stop testing. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but he said we need to stop testing so that way we just don't have those high numbers everyone's seeing.
How lucky are we to have such a comedian in the office?
I mean, it's definitely, he's not wrong, I guess, to be devil's advocate.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. Obviously, that'll bring down the numbers, but I mean, it's ridiculous to think that, especially when he was just so wholeheartedly like about testing.
He's doubled down on it
number
twice.
One testing.
He's brought up
his driver came out positive.
Oh, did he?
That's true.
Yeah,
he did. Several, I think a few members of his cabinet too, if I remember correctly.
I don't know if it's cabinet, but I know people that work right under him, they have tested positive. So a lot of people are just waiting for him to get sick.
The inevitable, because he obviously isn't taking much precautions. He just had his rally in Oklahoma, and there was absolutely no precautions being taken with anybody in the audience. The very few that were in the audience, but according to him, millions that were in the audience, as well as himself and
The millions.
his people.
How funny was it that they were kind of bragging about like having like millions and millions of people that want to come and see the show, but when the day came, it turned out to be a hoax, or it turned out to be those K-pop people that were just flooding it
Yeah, it
and
was
not
K-pop
really
and
going.
TikTok enthusiasts, TikTok watchers. I don't know,
Yeah,
TikTokers,
they,
whatever you want to
didn't
call
they
them.
make them buy tickets and everybody bought tickets and then nobody went?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
reserved a bunch of tickets just so that way nobody else could go.
They
and it
50
was
cented him. There's a I don't know if you've seen that 50 Cent bought like the first 4 rows of Ja Rule's concert,
Yeah.
and he bought the first 50 rows of whatever much he spent on it, and just to have them empty.
yeah, because he wanted to
No,
throw him off or something, right?
yeah. I
Dude,
mean,
that's
50 Cent is the ultimate petty master. But yeah, that's
dude.
pretty much what they did to
He's
uh,
funny, dude.
as
him.
far as our brilliant state leader, Greg Abbott, he went on saying what pretty much everyone else has been saying: stay home. That's the way to fight COVID. Just stay home.
See,
Even though he wanted to open
and
up a month into quarantine.
yeah. And see, like I know I was one of the ones that was 50-50 with opening up, but I was definitely put back because of how he was opening up. You know, it's one thing to kind of open up with precautions and kind of just slowly, step by step, but I felt like every week we were just okay, now this is open. Now this is open. Now we're at 50%. Now we're at, and it's like I feel like we're moving a little too fast. Like let's freaking pull the rein in a little bit and kind of take steps, because I think they were saying if we continue at this, we're gonna overrun like the healthcare system within the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, come on, guys, like
I mean, we're
you
hitting
you need
staggering
a
numbers. It wasn't until this Monday that they finally made it regulation to wear masks wherever you go. I mean, it was
Yeah.
always kind of recommended, but now it's actually regulated and everyone has to do it. It's frustrating. It really is frustrating that Abbott didn't take this serious, and a lot of people in general just didn't
people.
take it serious.
Yeah, and you see it a lot, man. In the couple stores that I've been to, they've actually had to call the cops on a couple people because they really are like so adamant about not wanting to wear a mask and thinking that they have all these rights and stuff. But it's like you're putting other people's lives in danger. I mean, whether or not you have the sickness or not, you're kind of giving this narrative of like, no, I'm not going to do it because of my rights and all this and that. But really, it's not the hardest thing in the world, especially if you're like a customer just going into shop, or I don't know how it is for you guys, Matt. Like when you go work out, is it? I mean, I can understand how it'd be harder to work out, but definitely shopping, it shouldn't be that bad. I think it's a lot worse for like us who actually work there, because I pretty much have to have that thing on for 8+ hours a day while I'm working, and sometimes I'm like I have to go to the bathroom and take like a quick breath and then go back into it.
No, at the gym they're enforcing it as well. But if you're working out, you can't have the thing on. You're gonna hyperventilate immediately.
Yeah.
So they're enforcing it when you walk into the lobby. They're enforcing it when you're in the cafe area. Well, at my gym, the cafe area, and all the trainers are wearing them when they're on the actual gym floor. But if you're actually partaking in the actual workout itself, they're not enforcing it. I mean, obviously they're not going to, because then that's a health hazard.
Yeah, you're gonna
Um,
pass out.
yeah, and like you, Julian, I have to wear it for work, and I'm in a warehouse, all day, in a hot warehouse at that. So it's already hard enough to breathe in there with the heat and the humidity, and then on top of that, the mask doesn't make it any easier. But what I do remember reading somewhere is that you can have the mask on, but you're supposed to take it off, or not take it off, but at least get a fresh breath of air every so often.
Yeah.
Because there are people passing out that they're wearing it all day at work and not taking it off, and they're going 8+ hours wearing them, and then they're passing out, or you're really cutting the amount of oxygen your body intakes. because
Yeah.
you're recirculating carbon dioxide into your body. You're basically poisoning yourself.
And even like some moisture too, because there's definitely times where like I'll have the mask and I almost feel like I'm,
You got wet mouth.
I guess, yeah, and well,
You got
not like throat
moist
almost.
mouth.
It feels like I have like mucus, and then like so sometimes I'll just have to like leave it off for a little bit. I guess let my lungs clear out or whatever, and then I'll get back into it. But I don't know. There's times where it is a little weird, but I'll definitely continue to wear it, especially because it's it's a hazard. Like
Mhm.
it's amazing that some people don't or stopped recognizing how much of a threat this is. I was reading one of my friend's stories because she's about our age. She's like, I think only a year or two older than us, and she got it, and she actually had symptoms. She like kind of suffocated. She noticed her lips start turning blue and stuff, and she has a hard time. Now that she's recovered, she still has like hard time uh breathing and stuff like that. And it's like, man, that was somebody who's in our age group. Imagine, all these other people who are older. I actually finally had my first nightmare about that the other day too. uh I guess, I don't know, I somehow caught it or something in my dream, and I couldn't breathe, and I was just like freaking out, panicking, and I was like, oh my god. And I woke up and I was like like, I don't know, it was weird. But
I mean,
yeah, I mean,
like for you, Joe. I don't know how often you go out, but
never.
I know. As the Leela goes over often, like, do you what precautions do you do? Because I know she works. I know she's out in the public
Mhm.
90% of the time. So like, how do you handle it whenever she comes over? Because I know you've been quarantined at home for quite some time now.
Yeah, I've been trying to stay home as much as possible, living the
Well,
quarantine
he
life.
puts her in a hazmat suit, and
No, yeah, I mean, she takes all the proper precautions when she's out, and pretty much that's kind of how we assess every situation. We go through different variables on like, could this have been a possibility? Do you see yourself exposed? Were you ever in contact with somebody? Were you ever around somebody without a mask? We go into different precautions. We always make sure that we taking into account all the variables before we actually decide to see each other and stuff like that. And
It's
yeah, and
I
I'm a
literally
stickler
wash
for.
my hands. I literally wash my hands now every time that I touch someone else. Like, even if it's a fist bump or something, I'm already like, a mental note is already on the top of my head. Like, all right, wash your hands as soon as you're done. Like, I won't be rude and just be like, all right, well, I'm gonna go wash my hands. Like, I'll finish my conversation. Like, say,
yeah.
like, we fist bump and then we'll talk for a bit. And as soon as we're done talking, I go and wash my hands. But I make a mental note, like, okay, this is the contaminated hand. Don't touch anything.
No,
I'm like
yeah,
Keep
idle
your hand
hands,
back.
I think even
No,
after all this is done, I'm gonna be stuck thinking about what my hand touches and whether I need to wash it every time I shake hands with someone, or even if shaking hands is gonna become a normal thing again. I don't know how much people are gonna
yeah.
change after all this.
I
Well,
gotta say, I do like the fist bump a lot better than a handshake because, like I was saying with washing your hands, one of the most uncomfortable things was like, you just come out of the bathroom after washing your hands, and someone's like, you shake your hand, you're like, oh man, I just washed my hands, and they're like, oh, it's fine, but it still feels so like, oh, my hand's wet, dude. Like, come on.
No, yeah,
So,
I don't do the wet shake. It's
so what?
disgusting.
oh
One
yeah,
cool
yeah.
thing is like fist bump, and that's cool. I don't know. I like it, especially because obviously you're not touching things with the back of your hand. So
I
I don't
guess
know.
I guess I'm a little old school on that. I prefer the handshake. But yeah, if I wash my hands, then yeah, I right away go for the fist bump. If I just barely wash them, prior to all this, if I do a fist bump, it's because I just wash my hands. But I prefer shaking hands. I don't know. I'm old school with it. But the like you, Joe. I take all precautions too, especially when I'm coming home, because I work with with exporting and importing from here to Mexico to China to Canada. So there's a lot there's plenty of room for error for anybody to catch anything. So I get to work. I probably wash my hands 15 to 20 times before I even go to lunch. And it's to the point to where I love getting my hands dirty. I love the feel of oil, the feel of dirt on my hands. That's just the kind of guy I am. Yeah, I used to, and now
I
whenever
used to.
whenever I start getting with dirt on my hands, I'm like, oh, I gotta go wash my hands now. This is uncomfortable. But no, yeah, I whenever I get home from work, I take off my clothes right away, throw them in the wash immediately.
Nice. I guess we should start wrapping up soon. Did you have any other things you wanted to bring up, Julian?
Well, I mean, I did want to bring up a few things. Like, obviously, there were a few situations where even some of the bars in our town kind of got shut down because they weren't taking precautions. And I guess I just, just wear a mask, guys. It's not that hard. You just saw, like, even Jacob right now when he interrupted, even he was wearing a mask. He was done with work and he was still wearing it because he doesn't want to infect people. It's not about taking away your rights. It's not about, brainwashing the public into like, oh, you know what? It's not a conspiracy, it's a real thing. It's a serious issue. And there's been time and time cases where it's proven that masks are like one of the most effective things on top of washing your hands. There was that study or that case where those two ladies who reopened their salon, they both had COVID without knowing it, but they were wearing a mask, and all the customers that they serviced that day were wearing masks. They serviced about 140 people, and every single one of those customers did not contract the virus.
Wow.
And they were all wearing masks. So it just goes to show how effective it is in social distancing, in taking precautions with the mask and washing your hands.
Because the mask
It's your
is all
people.
about preventing you from spreading things. So you
Yeah.
might not know you have it, so that's why you need the mask. So that way you don't cough on me and I don't come home and get my family sick. So I'm not looking out. I'm not trying to protect myself. I'm trying to protect my family. So don't be dumb and wear your mask so that way my family can be okay.
Yeah,
Keep your immune
especially.
system strong too.
Yeah,
Keep your immune system
as Matt
strong.
says.
Drink your
Oranges.
orange juice every morning.
Yeah. And if you're not
and
into it, you can find stuff like this. Where is it here? I don't know if you guys can see it. It's called GI juice. So what it is a digestive enzyme that comes with all your immune system support already built in. You can find them at supplement stores that way you don't have to be chucking down fruit and vegetables and all that stuff.
I've been taking my multivitamins for
there you go. That helps too.
50-year-old men.
I take them too. It's not up here.
The only thing that's funny is that I'm actually almost done with these. They're not too bad, but it was funny when I found out that this is for older men. But yeah, nonetheless, guys, obviously stay safe out there. Stay sunny. Black lives still matter, as you saw with Jacob. And yeah, keep on keeping on.
We'll see you guys next week. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you're on YouTube, or just rate us on wherever you get your podcast. All of that means a whole deal to us, and we can keep making great content for you guys. So we'll see you next week.
And we look forward to seeing your Father's Day stories.
Yes. See you guys.